Welcome to this week's edition of ADH Tea, the podcast. And today we're going to be talking about the most ADHD things that we do. So, Donna, what's in your cup and what's on your mind?
In my cup just now, I have got Tammy, which is a Darjeeling style tea. It's a first flush, and it is very energizing. So
Oh,
I don't know how how that's going to transpire during the recording, but we'll see. Um,
interesting.
so yeah, I just sort of felt like I needed a bit of a pick me up. And it's quite a bright tea, so it's nice. I like it for kind of warmer days and stuff as well. And the sun is out, so why not?
It is. And I know you wouldn't think it to look at me because I'm wrapped up in a hoodie, like I do the size of a duvet, but yeah, it's lovely and warm.
It looks so cozy.
Yes,
Looks so cozy. And what is
yes.
on my mind? Honestly, I'm annoyed with how small Jaffa cakes are now. Yeah, it's just Googling. It looks like they've reduced the pack size from 12 till 10, and they've reduced the size of them from 5.5 centimeters to 5 centimeters diameter. So it's not my
That is
brain.
sacrilege.
I thought I was imagining things, but no. But that also shows you how often I have Jaffa cakes because that looks like it's from 2023. So,
Okay, so 2 years. Okay.
mhm,
They
mhm.
probably did it gradually, to be fair. They probably reduced it gradually over time, so you were hoping that we wouldn't notice.
Oh no, I don't think that. I
Maybe.
don't. No, I doubt
No.
that. When you were saying gradually there, I was like, oh, so like one's 5 centimeters and one's 5.5 centimeters. They just put them all, mix them all up.
No, but like over time. Because I know they did that with like Quality Street and Roses and stuff. Gradually over time, reduced the number of sweets in the tin.
Oh.
So that's a whole. I could go on a rant about that too, but I won't.
Sarah, what is in your cup today and what is on your mind?
My cup is vacant. I don't have a cup, which actually is very apt for what we're going to be talking about today because as I was saying to you this morning, and this also ties into what's on my mind, how ADHD I can be at times because I said to you this morning I dropped my phone on the ground just as my husband was leaving to do the school run. So I decided rather than shout him back to pick it up for me, I was like, I've got quite a bit to do this morning, so I'll just leave my phone on the floor until he comes back. And I got loads and loads of work done while my phone was out of reach. And then I only remembered like 10 minutes ago that we were recording today. And then 3 seconds after I realized how hungry I was that I'd forgotten to eat. So that shows you how frantic my brain is. And I have to basically leave myself in a vacuum to focus on one thing sometimes if I want to get anything done. So, yeah.
I love
What's
that.
on my mind today is how ADHD I can be without even really realizing it until very recently, but that is so me.
I love the fact that, yeah, you sent me the message and actually I thought we were recording like an hour later than we actually said that we were gonna. And it took me going to my diary and going, oh, actually, it's in 10 minutes.
See, at least you write stuff down. I don't even do that. I file it away in my brain and I go, oh yeah, I'll remember. And then,
Mm-mm. Oh no, I have
doesn't
learned I
happen.
have to like things like that. I have to write them down because I will like before before I had my own business before I didn't write anything down and I was like it's fine, I'll remember. I never did, and I don't know why I convinced myself that I would remember because it's never happened before. So why would this time be any
I know.
different?
It's- Exactly, exactly. I remember after I'd had, I don't know, maybe my first kid, I can't remember. I can't remember, ironically. I rang up, you know how you have to have like postnatal checkups and all that kind of stuff. And I rang up to book one of my checkups, and I literally said, like, the lady said to me, come in at this date and this time. And I said it out loud to like reinforce it in my own mind. And by the time I'd hung up the phone, I'd forgotten what she said, like in 3 seconds. And only Danny was in the room with me or in nearby vicinity and heard me say it. He was able to remind me so I could put it in the calendar. But that's how quickly my brain loses stuff. And I convinced myself that it was baby brain, but it's not. It's always been a me
Mm,
thing, baby or not. So
hmm.
yeah, I think hormones definitely exacerbate the problem, but it's always been a me thing. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've definitely had that as well. I try now to not let the person go away before I write something down, but then sometimes
Good.
I lose a bit of paper.
Mhm.
And I'm like, it's written down somewhere, I don't know where it is. So I've had to phone up places um and ask what exactly is going on.
Yeah, that's pretty standard for me ringing up. Like we have a meal coming up in May. Um, we go every year for our wedding anniversary, and obviously we have to organize babysitters and all that kind of stuff, which needs notice. I have no recollection. I know it's one of two dates that we booked, but I can't know which. So I'm gonna have to ring them up soon to find out what I actually booked because we book it a year ahead because it's quite
Uh,
hard to get it in. So we book it every year when we're leaving. We book for the following year,
hmm.
and I can't remember which day we booked. So I have to ring up soon so we can organize babysitters. Yeah,
That's I like that. That's amuses me.
yeah. It's just, but and I think people are used to me double checking now. In fact, a lot of places send me texts like 2 days before to remind me that like, and I don't think it's standard because Danny doesn't get them, but I do.
Oh,
So
I get them. Like
for
dentists and
everywhere.
yeah, dentists and doctors now do that. Um, Everything on the NHS here, I get a text message. It's normally the day before or two
Oh,
days before, depending on who it is. And whenever I'm
yeah.
booking things, I get a text message as well. Yeah, so I think it's becoming standard, which is nice
Oh, good. Good.
because sometimes I
I
get a
definitely
surprise.
get them for the dentist. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I definitely get them for the dentist because obviously my kids don't have mobiles because they're like tiny and I get
Mm,
all the notifications for everyone, so I get a lot of text from the dentist, but not the doctor, definitely not. And midwife
mm.
appointments and all that kind of stuff. I just have to I get them to write them in the book for in the notes for me before I leave because it just will go in one ear and out the other otherwise. So Donna, what would you say are some of your more ADHD kind of behaviors?
Everything, everything that I do. Um, well, I kind of the major thing I think would be like the appointments thing. I would say I definitely that's terrible because I do have to then get other people involved because I've forgotten the thing.
Mhm.
Um, Also, I often know that I'm going to forget something, so I set an alarm, but I call the alarm something along the lines of remember or stuff. And then I'm like, okay,
What am I
alarm, that's
remembering? Yeah.
exactly. I don't know because I
Oh,
decided that I was going to remember the thing when I write remember. I
oh
don't give
dear.
myself any other clues. So yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. That can be kind of problematic as well when it comes to like medication and stuff. I thankfully don't take much medication, but I do have some that I have to take in pregnancy and also like vitamins and things. And there's
Mm.
been a few times that I've gone to take something and realized that I've actually already taken it. And the only reason why I know that is I got one of those, the old people pill
Oh,
dispenser
yeah,
things
yeah.
with the
Mm.
days of the week on them.
Oh,
That was
that
the
sounds.
only way that and a few times I've gone to take it and been like, oh, I've done this already. Like, thank goodness I had them in the
Hmm.
boxes because, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if you doubled up on your vitamin D, I suppose, but like, it's still not ideal to me.
Yeah, I occasionally think I should do that. And then I get distracted by something. And also, I get a little bit panicked because you're supposed to keep the ADHD medication in the original box and all the other things.
Oh,
So it kind of makes me go, oh. And then I start overthinking. I'm like, is it breaking the law if I take them out and put them in a wee box? And then it's not. Probably, I don't know,
yeah.
but that's just what
Hope
goes into
it's
my
not.
head. What I normally do is I will like there's a specific place that I'll put the tablets that I need to take
Hmm.
in the in the morning. So it's like a I've almost conditioned myself to do it like that's the first thing, one of the first things that I do. Go and brush my teeth and then go and do, that it's kind of automatic.
Yeah, it's a reflex now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I will do that, and if they're sitting there, then I've not taken them, and if
Yeah.
they are not sitting there, I've probably taken them. There's
Yes.
has have to say there has been a couple of days that I'm like, I go in, I'm like, there's enough, there shouldn't be this many left.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or because I've got really horrific hay fever as well, and I take them all at the same time. So if I haven't taken my antihistamine, I will notice like in the middle of the day because I'm starting to sneeze and my eyes are going and
Uh-huh.
everything. Then I'm like, oh no. And I'll go through and I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't taken them. Great.
By which point it's probably might be a bit too late as well because it's already
Uh,
started to kick in, and then
yeah, yeah. Well, for antihistamine, I'll still take them, but with ADHD stuff, I have to take them before a certain time of the day, or else I will
yeah.
be awake.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. So, but
Yeah.
then at least I'm aware now, and I'm aware of what my brain does without it, and
Hmm.
I can give myself a little bit more space most of the time,
Yeah.
and just be a bit more gentle with myself that day. So I
For
suppose the
sure.
awareness is key. I can kind of use that. So
For
yeah.
sure. That's it. When you become aware of the, and that's one of the things that I love about our friendship. And since we started doing this, I've become even more self-aware, and I know now, like
Mm,
these are the things that cause me stress and like things. So it's like trying to prevent that by putting things in place. And I've spoken about this before as well, outsourcing a lot of my
mm,
decisions and a lot of my things, because it just, your brain does get completely overloaded, doesn't it, sometimes?
yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like I need to, and I'll even say to Danny sometimes, like, I can't, I'm completely overstretched
Mm,
mentally today. I need you to please take responsibility for A and B, because I'm doing C and D, and that's all I can manage today. And
yeah.
he's really good at stepping in and saying, okay, doing, or just, sending the email, or making the phone call, whatever
Mm,
it is, just to take that load off my mind. But having the awareness to do that, whereas before I was like a bit of a control freak and trying to do everything, and then I was snappy and stressed and emotional, and like, because there was too much of a load on me, and I just couldn't do. But I also didn't have the awareness or the
yeah.
courage, I guess, in a way, to say I'm struggling, I need help.
Mm,
This has really helped me to realize that I need to do that for everybody's sake, because it makes me nicer to
yeah.
be around as well when I'm less.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think, well, speaking from my experience, it kind of in the same, I'm very, very similar, and I kind of find myself in the similar position a lot of the time.
Mhm.
And it kind of also made me realize it doesn't make me a failure.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So it kind of takes away some of that shame. So even having the open communication, that ability to do that, and having somebody or a few people who understand, it
Yeah.
makes a, yeah, it makes a huge, huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even when with the muddle in your brain, when all the things are going on all at once, we can pick up WhatsApp and just like, this is going on in my head, and this is going on in my head, and this and this and this. And even if we don't respond to each other, just being it, which we always do, but just being able to offload that and leave it somewhere with someone who doesn't have to fix it or change it or make sense of it, but understands, is
Mm-hmm.
huge, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very, very much so. Yep.
Huge.
Yeah. So like, yeah, just sort of
Yeah.
not keeping it all in your brain and like trying to hold on to it in case it goes away somewhere. And
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's, I
Yeah.
suppose, one of the reasons why we were doing this as well, because it's like, well, let's share this with a
Mm,
wider audience, so that everybody kind of gets the, this is almost like your few minutes in the week to brain dump and to go, oh, actually, yeah, this is a thing, or I'm not the only one who struggles with this, or I'm not the only one who feels this way, or whatever. So yeah, it's really
mm-hmm.
cool.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. I mean, the other thing, and I don't know, I don't know what I've actually not mentioned this to you before, I don't think. Um, so I'll start again. My head's getting out ahead of my words just now. Hey, that's another thing. Um, I've got so
Yeah.
many things and so many trains going on, and I'm trying to like kind
Uh-huh.
of keep all of them in check and everything like that. And it can be difficult for me to actually get that out of my head in a coherent manner that other people can understand. Um,
Yeah.
but along with that, like I don't do it so much anymore, but I used to read a lot of kind of philosophy and everything like that, and I used to come up with my own theories, and I don't think I ever spoke about it with very many people, but the only a few people that I did, which was obviously a bad choice on my part, they kind of ridiculed me and why asked me why I would think about that, why I would waste my time, because who was interested in my opinion?
Oh my word. Wow.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, I have
Wow.
to say. But
That's
keeping
quite
all
scary.
yeah, but keeping all that in my head, as well as all the other things that are going on, and like, formulating almost like a vision around things in that way, in a more philosophical kind of, it's not so much meaning of life. I wrote my master's thesis on identity and the digital age and things like that. So it was a lot of
Mm.
things kind of surrounding that. That was a constant thing that I would revisit like multiple times during the day, as well as dealing with normal life stuff. I don't know if that's normal
Exactly.
or not.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's normal for us, I suppose, and that's why it's so important to have kind of like-minded, or even if not like-minded, but open-minded individuals who you can at least say, "Oh, have you ever considered this?" Or, "Oh, this is what's occupying my brain right now." And I think it's really short-sighted and really sad of people to have this narrow view of life, and only A, B, and C are the only things that matter, and
Hmm.
anything outside of that, I don't care, or I'm not even open to considering or discussing. Like, it's how beige must your life be if you're not open to wider perspectives? Like, why I couldn't be around people like that. I
Yeah.
really couldn't.
Yeah. Well, I extracted myself from that situation, so that's fine. But yeah, it was a bit of it still rears its head when I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say this to this person. Who am I to be thinking this? Do you know what I mean? So there's still a little bit of that
Yeah.
self-doubt caused by that comment that somebody made to me, which I know I shouldn't really
Wow.
hold on to, but it's difficult to let it go completely.
No, I'm really sorry that happened to you, and all I can say to you is no topic with me is ever off limits, and nothing ever needs to be censored, because look at the amazing podcast that it leads to. So bring it all. It's all up for discussion. My goodness, definitely.
Yeah, but again, like leading on from this, because everything's connected. Um, because, well, I can say that, we have this sort of constant thing going on in our head. I find it very difficult to relax.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the times when me being in this kind of less mobile body is a benefit in a way, because my body forces me to stop and rest, and I have to live life at a slower pace. So my physical body is slower, but whoa, my mind makes up for it.
Mm.
And I know I've spoken about it before. Like, it looks like I'm checked out sitting playing Candy Crush, but there's a million and one things going on in my brain behind the scenes. I'm doing, like, I'm organizing the next day or the next week, or something for the kids, or something for work, or something for my business, or everything's going on while it just looks like I'm sitting scrolling on my phone. But there's so much more happening. But I definitely think I've had to. The only way that I can quiet my brain, or not even quiet it because it never stops, but um park that and allow that just to go on by itself and actually rest, is by prioritizing my physical body over my mental mind, if that makes sense. Um and especially, I suppose, being in my early 40s and being pregnant as well, I really have to say my body just isn't going to allow me to do this today, so I have to slow down, and it's frustrating, but I also know I have to honor it, because if I don't, I'll end up ill. So that's one benefit, I would say, if you could And that might sound quite weird to some people, and it could be triggering to some people, but um, it's one benefit to having that kind of dichotomy of a really hyper mind and a very slow body, for want of a better word. One has to prioritize over the other at certain times, and it kind of creates more of a balance,
No, that
maybe.
makes a lot of sense actually. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, since having annoying back, um it's kind of made me like I have to go out. I think I mentioned, I'm not sure if I mentioned in the podcast before, but I have to go out for a walk first thing because I can't actually sit just now without kind of causing myself problems. So I suppose with that, that's
Yeah,
a little bit similar because I have to go out for a walk. It has to be at least half an hour, better if
yeah,
it's about an hour. So that's kind of given me some space instead of getting up and going immediately into work or doing whatever I need to do for
yeah,
the day.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
I kind
Mm.
of understand to a point. It's not very pleasant when it's cold and wet and windy outside, but I have to still go.
Yeah, it's also not pleasant being in pain. So yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And that's it. That's it exactly. It's I was going to say something, but I've lost my train of thought there now.
Catch the
Mm.
train.
Oh yeah, it's like eating. It's like the hunger. Like I can and I know this happens to you as well, where you forget to eat, and then all of a
Hmm.
sudden you're like, oh, I'm starving. But in my
Hmm.
current state, in my current yeah state, I guess, um, if I don't eat and prioritize my body again, then I end up physically sick. So I have to eat at set times, and I have to
Oh, is
eat,
that why you've been
you
so
know.
ill?
No, it's not why I've been so. No, no, I don't know. I don't think that's the only reason why. But as I say, when I was pregnant with Daisy, I wasn't sick at all. It just seems to be with the boys that makes me more. The hormones for boys seem to make me more
Okay.
unwell. But if I don't, like, if I let myself get too hungry, or if I overeat, which is the other fun thing that I have sometimes, if I'm really enjoying something, I'll eat too much of it. Um, but if I do that, then it makes I get really unwell. So I have to be really moderate and regular and conscious about my eating now. Whereas normally, when I don't have a passenger on board, my eating's all up the left. And if I'm engrossed in something, I might forget to eat for most of the day. And then at night time, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't eaten all day. Like, I've existed on coffee and goodness knows crackers or God knows what. But yeah, it's funny how I have to. Well, not funny, but I suppose it's fortunate how I have to be more adult and conscious with my food right now because it's not just me that I'm taking care of. I suppose.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense actually. But yeah, I get the whole like forgetting to eat as well. And actually before I discovered tea, and I'm not talking about tea bag tea, before I discovered good tea, I would forget to hydrate. Like I would
Yeah.
completely not drink anything the whole
Oh
day and
yeah.
wonder why my head was like pounding with dehydration.
But yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
tea makes me drink because I actually really enjoy it and it makes me slow down as
Yeah.
well and take time to actually prepare it properly and
Mhm.
even watching the leaves unravel, it is
Yes.
suppose it's kind of like a mindful practice for me. But
Mhm.
then I actually don't get dehydrated anymore, which is nice.
It's a nice bonus. Yeah. I ended up in hospital 3 times before the kids were born, like before I was even married, I think. With like migraines brought on by chronic dehydration. Like not once,
Wow.
not twice, but 3 times I was in hospital. Like you would think I would learn after the first time, but no, 3 times. And yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even
and
know
it's
what to
that.
say.
I know, but this is me. This is me. Like I don't do things by half. I don't, if
No, no.
if I'm gonna dehydrate myself, I'm gonna dehydrate myself to the point where I end up in hospital. Like there's no half measures here. And same with food and stuff. Like if I oh, and like hydration and drinks and things. If I really like it, I will drink it and drink it and drink it and drink it and drink it until one day it turns my stomach because I've had so much of it. I'm like, I can never drink that again now because I've totally sickened myself. So it's like all or nothing with me. With everything, with everything that I do, I definitely have compulsive tendencies.
That's really funny. I think with tea is there's such a wide range of tea as well. I do get a focus on like one or the other, and then
Yeah,
sometimes it's more like even just the weather changes or there's something and I'm like, oh, I want a cozier one or I want a more refreshing one. So
yeah,
yeah, but because of that I don't get fed up with it, which is nice, thankfully.
mhm, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. And with you, there's research as well. Like it's business research when you're trying all the different teas
I like
as,
that, yes. Just
as
keep telling
well, which is
myself
good.
that.
That's my excuse for having loads of card decks and loads of makeup and skincare. It's business research. Because if I'm going to recommend something to somebody, I need to be able to vouch for it and test it out and try it all. So that's how I justify a lot of my self care is like it's research for the business. I'm not being selfish. It's an investment in my business.
Yeah, yeah. I have to be careful with that with tea because yeah, I can go overboard because I'm like, I want to taste all the tea in the world, which is like not possible.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I don't know actually. So I mean, I know a lot of folk with ADHD have issues with, like getting to sleep because of obviously racing mind, unable to switch your brain
Uh-huh.
off and everything like that. Um, I
Yeah.
don't really get that too much, but I have certain things that I will put on and listen to if I experience that. And actually,
Okay.
it's not meditations. It's actually like things that make me feel sleepy.
I was going to say like podcast or white
Yeah.
noise or whatever.
Yeah, there's certain podcasts like I like the person's voice and I don't listen to what they're saying, but I kind of like not so
The
just
melody of their
just
voice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not even they're not even singing. They're just yeah.
For me, it'd be probably audiobooks. There's certain
Okay.
people reading an audiobook that I would enjoy,
Mm.
again, just listening to. And then
Mm-hmm.
the flip side of that is there was a couple of books that I got that I really loved the books when I originally read them, and I wanted to listen to them then because I haven't been able to focus to read a book since the kids were born. I don't know
Okay.
why. So I prefer to listen while I'm doing something else. And some of
Mm.
the people who've recorded the audio version, I literally can't listen to them because their voices are just the pitch of them, and I literally cannot
Mm-hmm.
listen.
I have
Trying
that
to
same
watch
issue.
this.
I really am kind of very, very picky with people's voices
Yeah.
and it's just like I really like this story, I really like this. Or it's an interesting topic, but I can't listen to this person and I suppose it's just personal
Yeah.
preference.
Yeah.
Um and that's often
Yeah.
why I have issues with audiobooks because I can't listen to the person reading them.
Hmm. Yeah. 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 No, it's hard. And I only noticed when it was something, a book, like I say, that I know I enjoyed, really loved the story. So it wasn't that the story was the issue, it was the voice. I was like,
Yeah.
oh dear, that's a bit sad. So
Hmm.
yeah, but I'll
I have
listen to. But then also the other side, the other side of that is then I'll listen to something and I'll fall asleep listening to it, and then it'll wake me up again because it'll be still on. Like I'll
uh-huh.
fall asleep with it on, and it'll wake me up again. I'm like, oh, it's woke me again. So it doesn't
Okay.
always work. But
Yeah. Yeah, I can see how that would be really annoying. I tend to put mine on quite low volume, so it's not really a problem. YouTube used to have a
yeah,
thing that you could actually set a sleep timer, and they've removed it, and it's really annoying because
oh,
it was really useful.
oh,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, a sleep timer would be
Oh,
useful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of features that have been removed, I don't know if this is just a me thing or if you do this as well. When I'm on, like, say, TikTok Shop or whatever, I'll see something or someone will be advertising something and I'll go, oh, that looks cool. Or it might be on offer or something. I'll add it to my basket
Mm.
and then I'll do save for later. And this morning I woke up to a message, or I was on my TikTok shop doing exactly that, adding something to my basket to save for later, and it said like 75 items in my basket, and I was like, what now? Excuse me, what? And I went in, I clicked on it to see what the heck had been going on. And it was like, oh, all the items that were in your save for later have been moved to your basket. And the features being removed. Check
Oh,
through them all. And it was something like 535 quids worth of stuff. And I'm like, whoa. And I had to literally go through and delete them all one by one. You couldn't even select all and delete. I had to delete them all one by one. And I was like, right, that's an end to my window shopping.
no, I imagine like if you're tired, you haven't quite noticed what's going on.
I know. Yeah, exactly. That's what Danny was saying. Like, and there was like, I don't know, it was like literally 75 items or something. And he's like, imagine the delivery people coming with all that stuff. And he'd be like opening the van, going, "See all this? It's all yours." Like, oh no, like stuff that I didn't like. Had no intentions of ever probably buying, but I
Mm,
just added them on impulse, going, "Oh, that looks kind of cool," and like stuff that I would never need. And I
yeah.
could have accidentally just hit buy now and paid for the whole. Oh, well, it wouldn't have went through probably anyway, but like 500 quid at this time of the month, no chance.
Oh, that's really funny. No, I've never used TikTok Shop. I can't even say it. TikTok Shop. Never used it before.
Like Amazon, do you have stuff like in your Amazon basket that you've been
Yes.
looking at for a while, or is it just a me thing?
Yes. Oh no, I've
Yeah,
got stuff in my Amazon basket.
yeah,
I've also got like 50 million tabs open because I will, of course, go back and look at those later. Right, okay. So
yeah.
yeah, I think
And
that's
screenshots that you go, I'll screenshot this later, and then they go into the ethers, never to be seen again.
yup. And
Like
then I'm like,
millions of screenshots.
why did I take that screenshot?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Oh,
Recently, I've got really bad for doing that with recipes. So I've got loads of screenshots of
yeah.
recipes and I forget about the recipes and then I wonder where they are. And then like a year later, I'll probably go back and be like, oh yeah, that's where that recipe was. Okay.
I used to send everything to Danny, and it's to the point now where he has stopped even when I message him, he doesn't even look at it anymore because he thinks it's just some nonsense screenshot or something like that there. But then I realized that he can actually message yourself as well. You can message
Yes,
yourself on like
yes.
Messenger and WhatsApp and stuff. I've been
hmm
spamming myself now instead.
hmm 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 Yep, I am doing that. When did I discover it? Let me have a look because it's only recently that I discovered that. When I say it's only recently that I discovered it, I have now scrolled back and found that I've been doing it since July, and it's lots of stuff that I've not actually looked at since July last year.
Ah, okay. So, like I literally have only been doing it for the last week or two. So thank you for listening to this week's episode of ADHD the podcast, where we discussed the most ADHD things that we do, from eating to sleeping to screenshotting and just all the little quirks that we have, and we realized once again how similar we really are.
Yes, which is impressive because we are often complete opposites. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of ADHD. You can find us across on Threads at ADHD the podcast, also on Instagram. And please subscribe because we keep forgetting to tell people that we've released a new episode. You'll probably find out like weeks later, so go and hit that subscribe button. Thank you. And we also have got a comment as well. So we will, if you listen to the end today, you can hear the response to that. And yeah, just pop us a DM over on Instagram at ADHD the podcast for that. And you can get me across on Instagram and Threads at Unravel Tea for all things tea. And Sarah, it can be found on TikTok at It's Really Mama. Thank you for listening to the end. The question or the comment today was to Sarah from Pete. Are there empowerment coaches out there who are forgetting to tell folk about critical thinking and concentrating on being unbending? And what differentiates the difference between a good empowerment coach and one who just believes they're a good empowerment coach?
Thank you so much to Pete for this question, and he really made me sit and reflect and think about how I conduct not just my business but my life, and how I encourage people to think. In terms of how I view empowerment coaching, the first thing I always think to myself is if this person's way of thinking and their belief patterns and what they're holding on so dearly to was working for them, then they wouldn't need me in the first place, or they wouldn't want to work with me to change things because something inside them wants to change to make them actually seek out working with me in the first place, or any coach for that matter. So what I always do is, even if somebody has something that they are quite passionate about and quite holding on quite dearly to, I'll always give them an alternative perspective, and I'll always try and do a reframe on something. So whether it's something that they feel that they're stuck in, or that, well, this is just how my life is and I have no choice over this, I will always try and reflect back to them that in fact they do have a choice. And 9 times out of 10, the disempowering thing about the situation in your life is how you're viewing it. And I always also say every obstacle is in fact an opportunity if we look at it from another angle. So there's that. And even if somebody's quite adamant that how they see things is right and right for them, I'll always try to give them another viewpoint, because it's only, and I firmly believe it's only in opening up the sphere of your mind and opening up yourself to other beliefs and other opinions that you will in fact broaden your horizons and give yourself a whole new outlook on life. So there's that. And then also, I don't believe that surrounding yourself with an echo chamber of people who agree with you, particularly if you're feeling quite disempowered and like, poor me, woe is me, for someone to just kind of massage that and go, oh, you're right, poor you, and give you the whole like pity party, that's going to leave you stuck. And that's not what you want, especially when working with a coach. You want someone to empower you in the true sense, make you see that you do have a choice over your life, and that 9 times out of 10, the best way to overcome something is to look at it from another angle and see the gift in it rather than the negative things. So yeah, thank you so much, Pete, for bringing that question. And if anybody else has any questions, either for myself or for Donna, please feel free to message us and we will address them in a future episode.
Or for both of us together. We can do that too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. We will be back in your ears next week.